I woke up late and I might as well at that point maybe should have stayed home. That's the lesson of these parks is if you have big plans for the day, then you need to get here early or else. I'm probably not even going to get to do the Gachapon thing, which is why I bought the ticket today. It was kind of too late to move the ticket anyway, and I want to get out. This was my plan today, so we're going to see what happens. Maybe we can pull it off. Maybe these people are not here for toys. Maybe they're here for theme parks like normal people would be. We're not normal, and so we're going to wait in this line, get through, and see if we can buy some capsule toys. Shockingly, there is not a line. She's prepared for a line. They've built a line, but there is no line. Not bad on the first two. We got Aquatopia and the Riverboat, so 2 for 4. I have never been this lucky in the 6 years I've been doing Gachapon. I got all 4 in just 4 tries. So there's Jungle Cruise and there's 20K. We'll go open these in a little bit, but I got to get some for friends, so we're getting back in line. So these are the items I came to buy today. They are dolls in cast member costumes. They did Toy Story Mania, which is a costume that's only here because it's an American waterfront. And they also did Tower of Terror. I love this restroom sign, not only because it's, you know, every restroom sign in a Disney park is themed. I like that the phone sign, it not just doesn't just say, oh, telephone or have a telephone symbol. It's a period specific and region specific telephone little tin sign. That's the Disney Sea difference for sure. Yucatan Base Camp next to Indiana Jones will open at 10:30. I've got my mobile order and I want to try this Peter Pan Fantasy Springs meal, but as you can see, people will rope drop anything here. It doesn't matter what it is. I've never seen a restaurant open no matter how early and there not be a bunch of people outside. So all these people are waiting another 6 or 7 minutes for the opening of this restaurant, which, by the way, does not have breakfast. They're going to eat their essentially lunch food at 10:30 a.m. Again, not abnormal here. But what I came for today were capsule toys, which are a staple of Japanese toy culture, right? So these are they're all over Japan. You can get all sorts of cool stuff, and we'll go somewhere eventually in Tokyo that has like hundreds of machines. But these are cool because they're ride vehicle, like pool or bath toys. So I'm gonna pop these open. These I do open. I don't think they make a lot of sense to leave these closed. All right. I think they're a screw, right? Or are they just a pop? I thought they were a screw open. Maybe they're just a pop. There you go. Put the capsule there. They make great gifts. They're relatively cheap, right? So they're 500 yen. And oh, there's a screw? Oh my god. Oh, you gotta like assemble it. Oh my god. So here's the Mark Twain riverboat. These are cool. I'm not gonna assemble this right now. You get the idea, but with the rubber band you could get it to where you, I guess, wind it up and then you let it go. But there's a little checklist in here. This is a cool thing where you can hang the capsules if you want. They have a little strap. You can make them into ornaments essentially, or keychains. There's a lot of cool things you could do with them. This will tell us how to put it together. It's a pretty rudimentary thing. I guess the Nautilus required its own separate instruction. It's a little different. But yeah, it tells you wind it up and then you let it go and it'll go through the water. And it shows the 4 of them that are in the set. So you get a checklist with everyone basically. And yeah, I mean, so they're only 500 yen. So I mean, with the conversion rate, that's like, is that like $3? I mean, they're such a cool thing, and they're great gifts to bring back too. They're relatively inexpensive, and it's cool because they come in this Mickey capsule. People, you know, especially if you have Disney people in your life, you buy stuff for. Like, it's a real fun, easy, inexpensive gift, honestly. The problem becomes if you want a specific one, and then, you know, you saw in the other vlog where I fought that machine in Toontown, and I just kept getting the same one over and over and over and over. Look at this line for Yucatan Base Camp. Holy cow. It's all the way back there now. I really like the mobile order here. I like not having to fight these lines. And you wouldn't think to be like, oh, I better order this at 10:30 in the morning. All right, this is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I know some of you would be like, that's not the Nautilus. Well, you don't ride in the Nautilus here. Captain Nemo has created these little capsules for you to travel in, these mini subs, if you will. If I mention how much I love this camera, the new camera on the iPhone, it's great. Here's the 20K. This one, it says opens from the top. Oh, I think this one has like a little storage area. Yeah, they didn't have to do that, right? This could have just been a hollow toy. That's kind of crazy. I don't know what you put in there, but that's really fun. I mean, this is my favorite. It's my favorite ride pretty much anywhere. So that's really... we will definitely ride that today. I never come to this park and not ride that. That is a non-negotiable attraction. That has priority pass, so I booked Indiana Jones and Raging Spirits first because those will be the ones that run out first, but I know 20K will hang on and we'll book that as our 3rd priority pass today. I didn't pack that right, so now it's not going to close. It's the only thing I don't like about these. See, the propeller's in a weird spot, and now I can't close this. So as I said before, we're at Yucatan Base Camp Grill, which is the counter service next to Indiana Jones. The one we went to last time was Miguel's El Dorado. That's across the river. And there is a little bridge. I'll show you the little bridge later. I like the little bridge. But there's 2 main paths, and then there's a weird little bridge you can take that is very much not ADA compliant. So those of you, I'm sorry, if you can't do stairs, you can't do it. But that's going to be a story with several things in Japan, honestly. And these parks. This is the Peter Pan themed set. Includes a hamburger, or the Hamburg patty, as we've called it. The bone-in sausage, a staple of Tokyo Disney for some reason. And buttered rice shaped like Skull Island. There's a puff pastry on top, like a beef Wellington style thing going on, although I don't think there's meat in it. And that's supposed to be the Neverland Mountains, so it's supposed to be the land, right? You have Skull Rock, the sauce is the body of water, and then the puff pastry is the mountains it's the volcano, right? And the onion ring on top is the puff of smoke, the ring of smoke around the top of the mountain. It's very, very cute presentation-wise. I don't know how it's going to be taste-wise. There's also a star-shaped lime and tropical fruit cake and a choice of soft drink. I got the iced oolong tea, because this is another location without diet soda. A sip of that, and meat patty, sausage, barbecue sauce, fried cheese, butter rice. So that was the mix-up, right? It translated, we probably put it in the translator and it said cheese fries. It's fried cheese. So maybe that's not an onion ring. Is that a ring of fried cheese instead? weird. So the price on this is $21.40, 2,140 yen for the set, which doesn't seem bad. Seems like a pretty decent sized meal. I don't know where to start though. They also said barbecue sauce. That red sauce can't be barbecue sauce. There's no way. Let's try some of this buttered rice. I destroyed Skull Rock. Just like Tony Baxter in the 80s at Disneyland. I destroyed Skull Rock. It's definitely rice with butter. We got some vegetables. There's not a lot of plates with a side of vegetables in this park, or either park for that matter. Like broccoli. It's pretty oily, but it's good. I've been craving vegetables. I think cauliflower too, yeah? Yeah. Much nice. But now it's time for the dreaded bone sausage with like a pesto. Is that a pesto? We're in South or Central America. Chimichurri, I would imagine. You know, this is gross, but it's actually not a bad sausage. Reminds me of, again, like a microwave breakfast sausage. It's fine. It's just disconcerting to have a bone stuck into a sausage as a way to pick it up. Hasn't the animal been through enough at that point? Let's see. We're gonna see what this is. Is it cheese or is it an onion ring? It's cheese. They made a fried ring of cheese, which anywhere else in the world you would think it's an onion ring. It's pretty good. I mean, it's fried cheese, it's going to be bad, but it happens to be quite good. Wow. And then they held it up with I think this is a breadstick? And there's just a breadstick? You know. I wonder if anything's in this pastry. Or is it just bread? It's just a hollow piece of bread, a puff pastry. Why didn't they put the meat in the bread? There's nothing wrong with it, it's just weird. It's weird to have that with nothing in it. It just feels like something should be in it. I don't get it. I love that it said barbecue sauce. It's marinara. Just straight up marinara. Again, their hamburgers taste like a very basic meatloaf. Like a school cafeteria meatloaf, which it's not bad, it's fine. I mean, presentation-wise, this is a 7. Food-wise, it's not. Presentation-wise, like the fact that it's the whole area, like they thought, like, oh, we can make Skull Rock, and we can make the mountains, and it's really thoughtful. Quality of food-wise, I'm going to bring this down. Not much, though. This is going to be a 5. It's pretty edible. I think a lot of people would have this and be happy with it, especially with a American or European palate. I think you'd come here and be like, all right, that was solid. But that was a good filling lunch because you get this nice heavy piece of bread. There's some vegetables, which is a nice change of pace for a lot of dishes here. The hamburger is a nice solid piece of meat. You have the bone sausage too. It's a nice filling meal for the price. I'm gonna go 5. Right, I have a separate spoon for the dessert. Let's try the dessert, which is again a tropical fruit cake with lime shaped like a star. It's supposed to be the second star to the right, probably. I don't know. Second star to the right was not lime colored. I'm so tired of desserts with jello on them. I just want. I believe it's a very citrus forward gelatin on the top layer. Then there's like a little bit of cream in the middle. Then there's, I assume that's like a lime mousse around it, and then there's like a chocolate cake base layer, which you get a hint of in the bite. And then the popping candy again. They can't stop putting popping candy on top of everything. It's very tart. It's not particularly great. It's I don't know. It's not doing it for me. I don't know how to. I mean, I don't like tart desserts to begin with, but we had several tart desserts at Donald's Quacky Duck City that I actually really enjoyed, and this just isn't as good as those. So, separately, I would give the star dessert a 3, maybe a 2. Let's give it a 2. Let's go with 2. 2 stars to the right, and straight on to another dessert. So as a set, I'm still giving it as a set a 5 because I like that meal a lot. But you can get that without the dessert. You can get just that entree. That might be the way to go. But this comes with a drink, and maybe you like tart desserts. You want to try it. Maybe you want the complete photo of the star with all of Neverland. I understand that, and it's not terribly more. It's not terribly much more money. Yeah, this is. But I'm glad I tried this. This is a viable option for sure. I would have this again, actually. Almost forgot to show you guys the tray. I love this tray. It's Yucatan Base Camp, property of Andrews University, but then they stamped grill on it. It's another great food tray. Before we were rudely interrupted by lunch, I was opening the rest of my Gachapon. Here's the other two. We have Aquatopia, which is pretty detailed. Look at all those little doodads on the back. I don't know what they call them. All the little doodads are on there. They didn't do the little pole that sticks out, though, I think because it wouldn't fit in the Gachapon thing then. And then the other one is Jungle Cruise, the very green boats from Tokyo Disney specifically, of course, because that's where we are. But that's why it's very green. These are just so cool. I love these. These were worth coming today, for sure. But we're going to go do some rides. I'm going to do Indiana. I can't film half of these, but our priority pass for Indiana Jones has rolled up, so let's go do that. My priority pass strategy for this park is book Indy first and then Raging Spirits, as long as you get in early, because Raging Spirits will run out maybe even earlier than Indy, but I don't know how many people want to do Raging Spirits first thing in the morning. But Indy's my higher priority. If you miss Raging Spirits, it's just a roller coaster with minimal theming. It's Disney Sea. It's still beautiful, but it's still the Indiana Jones coaster from Disneyland Paris at the end of the day. If you need to see them all, then, you know, maybe book Raging Spirits first if that's important. But Indy would be my second then, and then 20,000 Leagues is going to be my third. So the question is this what we're going to get at Animal Kingdom? If we got this version at Animal Kingdom, I would be overjoyed, but there's really not a lot of animal involvement in this version other than the snake. But I will tell you, this queue is second to none. I think this one blows the Anaheim one away. Sorry, I'm not stabilized, because if I had the stabilizer out, they probably would have yelled at me the second I came in that it's going to have to eventually go away. It was easier to just go handheld. So I know it's a little shaky. Hit Mickey. But I figured I'd at least show you guys the queue. I have to scan my priority pass a second time, so putting you guys away. There is no Sala in this attraction, and they needed a Japanese language pre-show. This is probably somewhat offensive, but it's a character named Paco. Oh, Paco. This is the tipo torta, which I don't really understand what it's supposed to be. The tip of the sandwich? I have no idea. I've tried to translate this 100 times. I don't know. But it's essentially like a big flaky breadstick with filling. Right now, they used to, first time I came, they had like a savory one and a chocolate. Now this is chocolate orange. But they used to have, for Halloween and also then for the beginning of the 40th, they had a sweet potato, which is, I still think, the greatest thing I've ever eaten at a theme park in my entire life. I'm not saying that jokingly, that's a real thing. But this is chocolate and orange. I think I've had this one before, but I'll try it for your guys' sake, because I don't remember if I liked it or not. It's actually good. It's just real thick chocolate sauce in there. And just a hint of orange. So it's a rich like dark chocolate flavor with this hint of orange, just a little bit of orange. And again, the crust is super flaky. This is actually great. So it's Tropicals. It's a stand kind of between Arabian Coast and Lost River Delta, and kind of between Mermaid Lagoon too. It's kind of between all three. It's really on the border between Mermaid Lagoon and Lost River Delta. And then I walked, a little bit away to Arabian Coast to eat it, to find a place to film this. But this is a 6. Highly recommend, and they're pretty cheap too. On my way to the locker, I walked through the stores because that's what I do. I like to shop. I didn't buy anything, but I realized the stores are completely empty right now. This is a great time to do a quick sort of tour of Valentina's Suites and Emporio. This is the right side of the entrance in Mediterranean Harbor. So real quick tour, since I can't film a lot of rides in this park. Look at Donald and Daisy. These are beautiful hand-painted flats. These are great. That's the thing about this park, is if you're just doing rides, you're missing out on the most beautiful Disney park ever built. Look at this. Look at this ceiling. And you really gotta look up in these parks. Like, there are details everywhere. But like these classic paintings reimagined with Disney characters are great. So this is, like I told you, they have the giant omiyage stores. These are the stores with a lot of food gifts you can buy. This whole giant space is just the food gifts. That's all this is in here. Belle and the Beast. What's sometimes comical about Disney Sea is not only, we'll get there in a second, but look at Mickey and Minnie. What I find comical is sometimes there's things that are like major props in other parks, but then here they're just like a store display. So this is the Philip and Aurora statue. I believe it's the same one you'll find in the walkthrough, the castle walkthrough in Paris, but here it's just above chocolates. It's insane, an insane park. But I also love there's all the like royal elements up there as well along that border. The woodland creatures, the crown, the instruments. I see Jacques and Gus are out on that side. I don't know that I've even ever noticed that. And then look at these, like, you will miss all of this if you don't come in this food, this you know, candy gift store. These Huey, Dewey, and Louie sconces. Oh my God. I'll be honest with you, I've never noticed these. I'm glad I have you guys an excuse to look up at things I don't stare at that long usually. Honestly, also, every time I've been in here, it's a madhouse. I never come in here this early. And if I do, I'm heading to the lockers with a big bag of merchandise. I didn't have a big bag of merchandise this morning, but I had the Gachapon, which are kind of sizable. And then those dolls. It's supposed to rain at some point. I didn't want the boxes to get ruined. Look at Clarabelle and Horace. Oh, man. These are crazy. I know I've looked at these before, but it's been a long time. Cinderella and her prince. Aurora and Philip, and then my favorite. Yeah. There's not a lot of love for Lady and the Tramp at the parks, and it's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Yeah. Very, very cute. And then we can go into Emporio. We'll be through here, which is their version of the Emporium, which we're Mediterranean harbor. So it's supposed to be Italy, but I always feel like this is definitely more Greece. Obviously the Mediterranean is not just Italy, but the port is very specifically Italy. Like 99% of it probably really, except this interior, which leans into Greece and as well Fantasia. Look at these there's starlights up here. There's hidden Mickeys. I love these hanging lights. The columns. It's just really cool. We'll actually do some, you know, and in later videos we'll start like shopping. I'll take you guys through the whole store and we'll look what's for sale. And there's like a dome here with the moon and the Pegasus. And then if we go to the abandoned register, which I never see open, we have a Bacchus mural, which is interesting because I noticed on the way to Tokyo Disneyland they have what were our hub statues, the little bronze statues, but there are more of them than we've ever had in the hub, and one of them is Bacchus. And so at Walt Disney Studios Paris, soon to be Disney Adventure World or whatever stupid name they came up with, sorry, it's bad. There was a little Bacchus statue outside the animation building. They repurposed those hub statues, and there was a Bacchus there, and I'm like, what? Where did they get Bacchus from? And I'm not sure if the only place that ever existed was here, that was made because the walk to the park was longer here, so they had to pick more characters. And also, who arrived at Bacchus? Who was like, you know, Daisy, Chippendale, Donald, Pluto, Brer Rabbit, Bacchus? Also, like, Brer Rabbit made sense because that existed already. Like, that one existed. That wasn't something just made up for that walk. Yeah. Should we do the other side? Well, let's do the other side while we're here. It's nice and quiet up here. I'm gonna do it. But we have to walk back down this way because I want to start from the bottom. I want to start from Galleria Disney. Galleria Disney is going to be one of several Duffy and Friends stores. Duffy and Friends live basically at Disney Sea. That's their park. And so you won't find them at Disneyland. They're only at Disney Sea. And they have a couple of stores which are designated for their merchandise. So you notice we didn't see any Duffy and Friends merchandise in the Emporio. That's not where it goes. It goes down here at Galleria Disney. It also goes in McDuck's department store in American Waterfront, and then another store in American Waterfront, but in the Cape Cod section, which would be Aunt Peg's. Look at these vases in the window. Oh my God! With the old Disney animation. Going super vintage. The 30s characters, yeah. I love this concept, and I'm sure that's what they were going for was, you know, they're like, you found these ancient ruins. So what are the ancient ruins of Disney? It would be the earliest days of the company, which would be these characters in their 1930s and 20s and 30s forms, right? But then look at these. I've never looked at these. Look at these tiles. The Italian tile work, but it's all Disney characters. And these were made just for this window. These don't appear anywhere else. Maybe these are inside the store, actually. We'll go look. Man, these are cool. Here comes the Disney Sea Maritime Band. Well, we'll hear them from the store. I'm going to take advantage of these low crowds. Focus, there we go. Galleria Disney has kind of a weird theme, but there is a lot of tile work here. But no, those tiles are not in here. Those are only in the window. Is that real? Oh no, here they are. I was gonna say that's weird. I have never looked at these. So cool. And they stay in that like early Disney time frame, right? Like it's just Fab Five and early characters. They actually have stuff that's not Duffy and Friends in here. They're just regular ears in here. I don't know when that happened. That was not a thing. But they're playing the Disney Sea theme song. Mickey Mouse Club March. Alright, now we're going to go into, I think this is Figaro Clothiers. Yeah. Just look at the chandeliers. Every store changes art styles. It's such an incredibly thoughtful and detailed park. And this is themed to the theater. If you didn't notice by Mickey and Minnie's costumes, there are a bunch of theater billboards and ads in here. But my favorite is Pluto. We got to go see Pluto, who I think is Pagliacci. I believe that's what they're going for. There's also 2 Aida references in this park. There was one we just passed, but there's one in the New York area too. A big ad for it. Pluto is Pagliacci. I can't even say. I was going to try to combine the names and my brain exploded. Gachi. This is, I don't know the name of this store. Something of Venice. It's not just Merchant of Venice, is it? Is it that easy, this name? But God, there are two giant omiyage, like, packaged snack stores in this park, which is nuts. And they'll be busy later. You won't be able to move in either of these. Is the name just, is it Merchant of Venice? I'm gonna be embarrassed. It is. It's Merchant of Venice Confections. Look at that sign. And there's candy in the boat. There's candy in the boat. I've been here 100 times. This sign I've seen. I love this sign, but I've never really looked at that one. I was like, is it Merchant of Venice? I guess it is. It's very cute. This one's a little less character heavy. They went, other than the Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy and this thing. Other than that, like, all this other stuff is missing little character accents, which is interesting because a lot of these stores are character heavy, despite the, like, intense Disney Sea theming. This is a different store. This is, I don't know what this is, but there's like puppets up here. There's masks. I mean, they're all just gorgeous interiors. That's why this and Disneyland Paris, my two favorite parks. They're just absolute works of art. It's crazy. So I mean, you could spend an hour just looking at interiors. Venetian Carnival Market. I did not know that name. One I sure as hell know is Villa Donaldo. This is an incredible, the best one, I think. There we go. Look at the ceiling. All right, we're gonna try to get the mural behind the register because it's incredible. It's the entire duck family. Look at Launchpad. I love Launchpad. It's so great. Incredible. Incredible. This is great because you have Donald, and it looks like he's singing lovingly to someone. Who could he be singing to? That's painted on this ceiling up here. And then Huey, Dewey, and Louie as the little cupids. Yeah. All right, that's all the stores up front. Well, it's connected. We could go to Il Postino on the other side, but I actually have a Disney Premier access for Journey to the Center of the Earth. I'm gonna do, which if you don't want to wait for something in this park, you really, in most cases, don't have to. Between the priority pass, which I'm gonna be able to do Indy, Raging Spirits, and 20K at least, if not even something else. Sea Rider might hold on, the Nemo and Friends ride. But then with DPA, you could do Tower Journey, Soaring, and Toy Story Mania. You have to pay for them, but I'm not paying for Toy Story Mania because we have that at home. I would pay for, I think Soarin' is worth seeing, but the problem is if you pay for Soarin', you don't get to see the standby queue, which is, I think, one of the things that elevates it over ours. So you might want to try and rope drop Soarin', especially if you are a resort guest and you can beat people in and wait a shorter amount of time. I would get in line for Soarin', get a DPA for Journey or Tower Terror, and grab a priority pass for Indy or Raging Spirits. That would be my first move first thing in the morning. But we're gonna walk all the way up here, this very hilly park, all the way up and into Mysterious Island, and go on a journey to the center of the earth, one of the greatest attractions ever built. And I do flip-flop, you'll notice over the course of this, between 20,000 Leagues, Journey, and when it's open, Sinbad Storybook Voyage, those three, well, I'll flip-flop between all of them as to which is my favorite ride in the world. But it's definitely between those three. As we walk through the giant cavern, this sign might lead you to think you're at the entrance, but you're not. We still gotta walk more to the entrance. I mean, I've seen this all used as queue with that back cavern behind that wall. So it happens, but not today. It's not spring break, it's not a holiday, so we will get to go in right where the entrance is. We have priority pass. There we go. Journey to the center of the earth. We are going to scan again, so I will need my phone, but man, everything smells like gyoza dog. The gyoza dog smell has wafted into here, and it is potent. Look, I love them, but maybe that's not the smell I want to smell while I'm waiting in line. If you want a slower tour of this queue, we have a separate video here on the channel I highly recommend. But there's not much of a line on this side. We're gonna go into the Terravator. that's the worst video of this ride I've ever taken. Like I was saying, that's the worst video I've ever taken of that. I don't know if I've ever... I would have never filmed that from the back. I didn't really realize how bumpy it gets in the back. Or why it gets bumpy in the back. Maybe because the cars are more narrow than test track or racers. I don't know. It's interesting. But the nice thing, I love this exit because you get to hear what I think is the best ride score of all time. And I know people are going to talk about Soarin' and things like that, but Russell Brower killed it with this theme song. A fun thing about Russell Brower is he's also responsible for the Interventions loop, which is now gone. The one, yeah, that's right, the one you all love and miss, which I do too. That was also Russell Brower. Russell also apparently worked with Mike West, of all people, to put together the background music loops for the opening of the Disney MGM studios. It's a weird, wacky history of Russell Brower. And then he went on to work for Blizzard and do music for World of Warcraft and the like. A really cool and interesting career. But now we step out into what I think is the best land they've ever built at any park. Just, there's not a whole lot of lands that are built sort of in 360 degrees. Like the idea of like, oh, we're going to build the Volcano base from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And so it has to be the full thing. Like it has to be fully enclosed because it's hidden, right? Captain Nemo doesn't want the world to find him. Although now in the backstory of this land, he has, it's sort of a parallel universe where he's a little more friendly. He's kind of actually trying to help the whole world. He's a little more positive in his outlook than in the movie. And he's invited the world to come help him explore, you know, what's under the Earth's crust and what's 20,000 leagues under the sea. And that's the purpose of the two attractions. Here's Nautilus Galley. I've eaten several gyoza dogs since I've gotten here. I haven't vlogged one. We'll do that at some point. I mean, I never go a day here without getting one. You could also go visit the Nautilus down there, obviously. For those that don't know the story of the gyoza dog, it used to be available at the cart. This thing behind me when the park opened, if you watch the Travel Channel special from the grand opening, they'll show you the insane line where people were waiting hours for it. It got so out of hand that eventually they moved it down to Nautilus Galley, which used to have different food, I don't know what. But they moved it down there because they had more registers and more space to make them. And so in my time, the most I've ever waited is 20 or 30 minutes. It's pretty common. It's one of those rite of passage things. You have to do it. It's like getting a churro at Disneyland or, you know, getting a Dole Whip at Magic Kingdom. It's one of those things. Yeah. But yeah, there's 20K. But I feel awful about the job I did on the video in Journey. So please go watch my good video of Journey that's on the channel. I'm very proud of that one, and I shot that several generations ago as far as devices are concerned, and I still think it holds up pretty well. But yeah, I was all, that back seat was shaking me around. I could just see it was not coming out good. But I didn't want to recycle old footage and then lie to you guys that it was shot today. Big N, the big Nautilus N. So again, they're militant about filming, at least more so in the queue. If you film on the ride in there, they don't really care. Like everyone does it. But they don't like people filming like going into that Terravator either. Back the first time I filmed it, I got away with it. I don't know how. Like I didn't even know what they were asking back then, and I did it. And then someone eventually told me to put my phone away on a subsequent visit. But yeah. You can film the ride though. I forget what I was going to say. I was going to say something. Now I don't remember what I was going to say. I don't know. I'm just speechless because of this land. And you actually see the drop for Journey right there, right above the 20K queue. We'll come back and do 20K later. We got to get a priority pass for it. I think it's almost time to book that. But that'll last the longest of the 3 attractions I mentioned on priority pass. That's the one that'll stick around a little longer. But again, will priority pass stay? We don't know. The rumor is they're going to roll out something like Genie Plus here. So by the time you come here, who knows? But they haven't rolled that out yet. So take advantage of the free fast passes while they exist. Aquatopia! It's fun fact time. Did you know that Aquatopia should have been the first of the current generation trackless rides? I say current generation because you have to clarify that technically the Great Movie Ride and Universe Energy were trackless. But of the modern era trackless rides that don't have the wire running in the ground, Aquatopia was supposed to be first, but then Eddie Sato and his team were working on Pooh's Honey Hunt, and they saw this in development for Disney Sea, and we're like, can we take that? Can we use that? And that's what they did, and Honey Hunt ended up opening before this park did by several months. And so Pooh's Honey Hunt has the distinction of the first one ever, but really the first one ever in development, and what should have been the first one was this Aquatopia, which I like Aquatopia. It's a fun thing to look at. It's not super fun to ride, but yeah, it's probably good that Honey Hunt gets the distinction being one of the greatest dark rides of all time. This is going to be one of those things you could find in several different Disney destinations around the world, this Mickey Sailor. I'm pretty sure the first place it showed up, I could be wrong, was the Disney Magic in the atrium. But it's also in the gift shop at Newport Bay at Disneyland Paris, and then it's here in American Waterfront Cape Cod section at Disney Sea. If you are in the market for diet soda, one of the places you can go is Cape Cod Cook-Off. They have Fountain Coke Zero. The problem is they often have a standby line. You see it on the left of the building there. So I mobile ordered it, and now I'm here to pick it up. Seems like a good option. If you want bottled Coke Zero, you have to wait in line at Nautilus Galley. But those are the only 2 places to get diet soda at Disney Sea. The sodas are, they got rid of the big sodas. The big sodas, I guess, were for a 40th anniversary thing. So when the fiscal year rolled over on April 12th, April 15th, I always get Paris always confused. They're 3 days apart. On April 15th, when it rolled over, they got rid of the big sodas. So there's only these real small ones. So yeah, I got 2. I know. But this is about the tray. What does it say? Thy skills in the art of cookery be prized above all other, and thy reward be the contentment and health of mankind, proclaimed by the good citizens of Cape Cod Village. Welcome to the Hotel Hightower. cannot film on this Tower of Terror at all. Many have tried, few have succeeded. They will literally stop the ride if they see people filming. But when I first got here, they were still running the seasonal overlay, which I like better than the regular. But the regular is still fun, but I will tell you it is very, very tame compared to Tower of Terror in Florida, and even more tame than Tower of Terror in Paris or Guardians of the Galaxy in California. There's Joe Rody. The gift shop is a repurposed, it's the repurposed pool. It was the pool at the hotel. And what they did was, in story, they covered the pool with boards. You can see the edge of the pool, right? You can see the ledge. And then the wood boards cover the center. And then you get all this great art of Harrison Hightower, who, yes, is modeled after Joe Rody. It was a joke, and they had Joe actually pose as the character. And yeah, it's a tremendous backstory. I love this backstory so much, but I also love that there's a reason to call it the Tower of Terror. Like, that's the marketing term. Like, that's what, you know, the disaster with Harrison Hightower happened, and then many years later, the New York City Preservation Society started doing tours, and they started just saying the tours are of the, you know, what the public had begun calling the hotel the Tower of Terror. It's Disney storytelling at its best. Not that Twilight Zone isn't, right? Like, look, the Florida Tower is one of the greatest things they've ever done. This is it's just on par. I'm not saying it's better. This is such a cool story. And I think really similar to the some of the story in the new Ghostbusters movie. I kind of think they ripped off. There is a whole thing where a society of sort of adventurers or explorers or whatever, and they all, you know, mysteriously died. They all froze in the middle of summer, you know, messing with some stolen artifact, right? And that's what happens here, is Harrison Hightower stole Shriki Utundu after years of stealing artifacts from many cultures, from all the ports, in fact, in Disney Sea, which the murals in the queue show, that he finally paid. He took the wrong item. It was a cursed idol, and Shriki Utundu, the cursed idol, you know, is his undoing. And it's way too similar to what's happening in the new Ghostbusters movie, the backstory there, for it to be a coincidence. I think I'm dying to know if that really was the inspiration. It's just way too similar. I like that you don't even have to go in the queue. Like, if you don't ride this attraction, you can just come see this board just sitting out here, which tells you all the story about Harrison Hightower coming back from Africa. There he has Shriki Utundu with him. The grand opening of the Hotel Hightower. The last photograph of him. When they closed the hotel after he vanished. Very foreboding. Just a 5-minute wait for the electric railway. We're going to take this towards the back of the park. So the train stations near my house very much had these types of staircases that held on for generations. Not the wood railing so much, but the rest of it had held on for generations, the metal.
らのステーションから出発する列車はポートディスカバリールートです。安全のため走行中
The airplanes inside while the train is in motion. And please watch your children. Have a wonderful day.
There's a jazzy version of Casey Jr. playing. It's kind of my favorite thing ever.
DisneySea にお待ちください。DisneySea エレクトリックレールウェイの利用をどうぞお楽しみください。
Welcome aboard the Disney.
ございます。安全のため最後まで座ってお楽しみください。
本日はディズニーシーエレクトリックレールウェイをご利用いただきありがとうございます。安全のため走行中は立ち上がらないようお願いします。それではアメリカンウォーターフロントから時空を超えた未来のマリーナオートディスカバリーへの旅をお楽しみください。ステーションです。安全のため列車がステーションに到着するまで座ったままでお待ちください。
前の電車の通過待ち後出発いたします。座ったままお待ちください。
お忘れ物のないようお確かめの上、先に開いたドアからお降りください。本日はディズニーシーエレクトリックレールウェイをご利用いただきありがとうございました。ポートディスカバリーステーションに到着です。
扉が開きます。ご注意ください。
Goofy in his port discovery costume. What is he discovering? I have no idea. It's a ridiculous outfit. Alright, time for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We have a priority entrance, even though it's only a 15-minute wait.
remain seated and supervise your children during the mission. Per Captain Nemo's orders, flash photography is strictly prohibited. Thank you.
ようこそこちらですね、お願いします。皆さんいってらっしゃい。
潜水艇の位置を特定できるか？
いいえ、我々には全く未知の深海に迷い込んでしまったようです。だが潜水艇を押し上げているかのようです。
This is Raging Spirits, which fundamentally is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril from Paris, but slightly different theming. There's the waterfall steps on fire. There's some other little elements, but track-wise and car-wise, it's the same ride. This is cool though. This tunnel will fill with smoke and then you blast through it. Obviously, you guys can imagine today's theme is they don't allow you to film on this because they're afraid you'll hit someone in the head with a camera. But fun fact, if that top of the temple looks a little familiar, that's because it was based on the Emperor's New Groove, which came out while this was in development. If you couldn't tell, the theme is this battle between the water and fire spirits, which is why it's Raging Spirits. Now, why did they add a roller coaster that in another park is themed Indiana Jones to a land that has an Indiana Jones attraction without an Indiana Jones theme? That's a tremendous question that I do not have the answer. This is the best sign in any park, and you're going to see why right now. There you go. So again, while the ride is a clone of Indiana Jones and Temple of Peril, the queue, the theming, all of that is very different. And I think in a lot of ways superior, honestly. I love this. There's this like snake idol, and it's actively being lifted, so it'll list back and forth as you go by as if it's being lifted off. There he goes. I don't know if you really see that with me walking, but there's people behind me. I don't want to stop, but yeah, the motor is actively going over here, which is how it's being moved. My favorite thing here is there are rides that exist in multiple Disney parks, but when you come and ride them here, there's such a crazier emphasis on safety. So this is, again, the same ride as Indy in Paris, but the restraints are like triple padded, just because there's a loop. The ride in Paris is no less safe. I mean, it's probably not as well maintained, if we're being honest, but it's no less safe. It's just, there's weird, like, extra cautionary safety measures taken here. Like, Tower of Terror has the over-the-shoulder seatbelt, which, again, it doesn't even drop as fast here, but they felt the need to do it. I wish I could have shown you guys video on the ride, because there is an incredible view of Fantasy Springs from up there. Here comes the loop. The most incredible view of the Arendelle Castle and the Neverland Mountains. It's really pretty. Cannot wait. Funny thing about Raging Spirits is this faux you leave the track moment, right? The idea is there's like these two ancient arches and the track is wedged between. So it's like you're on a minecart and your minecart hits this arch and happens to do a loop. Obviously there has to be track there. You know, this is 20 years before Donkey Kong and the new system they have where it looks like you're leaving a track. But, yeah. Raging Spirits is a fun little roller coaster. It just feels less than a lot of stuff in this park, because a lot of stuff in this park is hyper detailed, you know, just the most incredible stuff ever built. So I mean, it fits a need in this park for sure. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's not on par with Journey and Indiana Jones and Tower of Terror, and, you know, scale wise. There's a cast member preview of Fantasy Springs happening right now. So the walls and tarps and stuff are down, and we can kind of see at least to the portal, right? There's the rock work with the character faces. You can see one of the faces there. I think that's Rapunzel. And there are guests milling around in there. Very exciting. This is our first look inside then officially, because I can see through. I mean, obviously can't see much, but nonetheless, it is the first time you can see through actually in to Fantasy Springs, but all we can see is like a lamppost. The nice thing is there's a cast member with the flag, the Dreaming of Fantasy Springs flag, and they're actually taking people's photos with the planter wall and the land behind it, which I feel like in America, security would be so mad. They'd be like, no, you can't have them take photos with. And meanwhile, there's a guy looking through it. You can't, I know, but security is going to this guy though. Hello, please don't. Yep. Please do not. And he smiled. Oh, but the kindness in America, you'd be screamed at and they just make an angry face. She's being so kind to him. I love it, and he's smiling back. It's very sweet. And there's people waving from in the land. They're showing off. let me in. Come get me. Hello. They're all, I made them all wave back. Well, they're all cast members. Of course, they're very sweet. I don't know if we covered this on a previous vlog or not. I can't remember, but Sinbad's Storybook Voyages closed the entire time of my extended visit through the summer into the fall. I think in September it reopens, but last time I came here there were not construction walls and it had already been closed for a little bit, so I'm growing concerned. OLC, I need you to hear this. If you harm one hair on his head, I swear I will come for you with all the force I came for those who tried to replace the Country Bear Jamboree. You will know my fury should you touch my Shandu. Leave him alone, he is a good boy. Do not change this ride. If you're wondering where Fantasy Springs is, we are at the absolute back of this park, and this is a giant park. If you're coming in from the front and not the Fantasy Springs Hotel, which we think you'll only be able to do if you're staying there, it is gonna be, you're gonna be winded by the time you get back here, which is probably why it's good they're doing standby pass. You don't have to kill yourself running back here. But this is real far back, and I am pretty sure once this opens, this will be the furthest point from an entrance in any Disney park. I don't think there's another park where you can travel that far back from the main entrance, like geographically, physically, that far from where you entered the park. There's no way. Even Epcot, I can't imagine. I gotta measure it, but I'm pretty sure. A Tokyo DisneySea hack. There are these little buildings up on this bridge on the left side of Mediterranean Harbor, and if you want to see one of these harbor shows, which are just waving for 10 minutes without waiting, I walked up and got this window spot, which I'm not close, but I will see the characters and the barges clearly, and I will see them wave, and I will get to hear the music from the speakers that are right on top of me, and everything will be good. I'll continue on with my day. Obviously, if they ever start doing a nice big good show again, you'll want to be closer for the daytime stuff. I believe you want to have a good view. I highly recommend buying the Disney Premier Access for a viewing space for Believe. Even if you're not going to ever buy a DPA for a ride, it's kind of necessary for the nighttime show. It'll save you from waiting, you know, several hours, and it'll make sure you have a decent spot. But for these, it's okay to just walk up, even if you're behind people. I don't, you know, this isn't much of a show other than characters on a barge and waving. going around, but they're not that detailed. That's just bubbles. It's a bubble. Prometheus is erupting. At select attractions, you can get essentially a free souvenir or something that's just helpful if you don't know what's going on. These are English story guides, so they'll tell you what is happening in the attraction, essentially. So I almost dropped it. So this one's Journey Center of the Earth. Just ask, look for generally a cast member at the entrance of the ride that has a, like, what's the type of bag? A shoulder bag or a big satchel? They have a lot of papers. They will have the story guide or they will go find it for you. She did not have it. She actually went, it took her a bit. I really appreciate it. She went and searched for this because I forgot they were a thing. I don't know if I've even ever got the Journey one, but they're super cool. They're just a great free souvenir too, right? And this is an attraction that has zero merchandise. There's nothing. When it opened, it had merchandise in 2001. But there's been almost nothing since, so it's pretty cool. 49 days to go. I guess we were last here 10 days ago. We're gonna end on a semi-sad note for the day. I'm beat. I'm leaving. Got here very early and did a lot, and I got packing and stuff to do at home, but the cherry blossoms are gone. It's a very different scene over here next to Hotel Miracosta. But thanks for tagging along today. Appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.